Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Check 1 2 3. Do a quick mic check here. Sorry, guys. Get the chat brought up as well. Mic check 1 2. Perfect. All right. Hey guys, AJ Town here live with the T Storm Chasers, ready to bring you the latest weather information as we start to look into this major winter storm that is going to start pushing across the region and already has been pushing across the region over the course of the last couple hours here, that we have seen things really start to come into play. And you guys probably barely can see me, so let me get those turned back on. Sorry there. So definitely things are really starting to ramp up across the region. We are starting to see things really starting to come into play as they start to move across the region here over the course of the next 24 hours here. 12 to 24 hours is what we really expect to see things ramp up here. As we take a quick live look at Radar Omega here, it is a software. We are looking at another chaser that is out in the Dawson area there, right about there. Here is his live stream. You can see that weather conditions are very, very poor with this. Excuse me there. Weather conditions are extremely poor out there as this does start to move. As this does start to move across the region here. So as this storm chaser is out in North Dakota is where he is currently at, approaching the Bismarck area is where we currently see the heaviest bands of snow. You can see that here on our live radar as we are taking a quick look at that. As we take a quick look at your advisories, here's what we are expecting over the course of the next 12 to 24 hours is we do still see that risk is pretty high of seeing some snow, freezing rain, ice, and wind conditions pushing across the state there. You can see here in this map right here to the left side of your screen there, you can see that those conditions are quite treacherous. You can see where that red is. That's going to be your mixed precipitation / ice. Sarah, no, actually, I drank coffee in a mason jug. But anyways, mason jar, not jug. Anyways, we are looking at that snow is going to continue to impact the region. We do have that chance of rain and storms mixed moving across the region yet today as we start to come into the afternoon and into the evening time frame here as well. Let me get another screen put up here. Here is a look at your latest weather advisories that are moving across the region as we start to look into that snow system that is really going to start to impact. We do have that winter weather advisory basically north of the Sioux Falls, Brookings area there. We do have west of there as well. We do have ice warning in effect for the Aberdeen area there. You can see that. As we do change to the next slide there, we have the winter storm warning that is in effect for the area as well. We do also see that blizzard warning mostly in effect for the North Dakota area. So as we start to see things really ramp up here, we're going to take a quick brief look at this latest model run here and see what we are looking at for what's coming into play and everything with that. So as we go into the morning time there, we did see that ice and rain push through the area. Now we'll come about that 15 Zulu, which is about right about now. We do still see that chance of rain showers sticking around. That snow is pushing northward into the North Dakota area with the highest just to the west of the Bismarck area there as well. We can see it right there is going to be that bullseye is what we are calling that for the Bismarck area. Sorry, I have a little tickle in my throat. So in that Bismarck area, we have that bullseye, which is going to be the strongest portion of that. Good news is this is all pushing north, so it's going to affect mostly North Dakota, South Dakota border, and just a little further south. We don't expect this to see push any further south as originally planned. So the Sioux Falls area is going to be looking at just that moisture that's going to be moving through and have that risk of seeing some severe weather. That risk of some storms isolated here and there. And then as we go through the day on Friday morning there, we are looking at moving into Wisconsin and Iowa area, that mixed precipitation as well. That'll quickly push off to the east and out of the region. Now we are still continuing to watch. We have another storm system that is approaching. We can see it here on 11:15 down in southern portions of the coverage area there, down in Missouri, Kansas area. We can see that larger storm system, that low pressure system. Now, at the beginning of the week, the models were pushing that a little further north. So we were able to see that system push a little further north. As that system did push a little further north, that brought us the chances of seeing this. Now it has dropped a little further southward and looks to be Kansas and Missouri. As we do continue it eastward there, that system really grows in strength and affects Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri over into Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana and upper peninsula of Michigan as well. As that low pressure system does start to move through, we do see those... Sorry there, my slide jumped on me. As that low pressure system starts to make its way northward, we do see that strength in there as well. So we are continuing to monitor that. On the 16th, we do see some snow showers starting to try to formulate here as it does produce on the 16th in the overnight hours. We don't expect to see much of that condition last here for the 16th into the 17th. We are watching another little clipper system. Mostly appears to be the Great Lakes area and Wisconsin area, Michigan, Wisconsin, Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and portions of Indiana as well, that we are seeing that heavier band of snow. For the rest of that forecast there, 240 hours out, we aren't looking at much of a chance of seeing some precipitation. So that is very good news. Winter weather outlook, run total snows. Let's look at that real quick. So we are still seeing right up in that Bismarck area the largest portion of seeing that snow with upwards to a foot plus in some areas. Now, as we do look back into the Pierre Rapid City area there, we do have that around that 2 to 4 inch mark. Some areas could see upwards to 6. Up by the Mobridge area up north there, we could see between 9 inches to 12 inches of snow push through the region. Then as we go through the day, or for the rest of the week there, we do see that isolated chance of that system pushing through, bringing us just a dusting of snow. We're not expecting much of accumulation there. Now let's look at your ice totals. I know that's a lot of questions as well, as some of you do travel. As some of you do travel across the region, South Dakota, Nebraska, and into North Dakota there, we do have that chance of seeing some ice producing there come through the evening tonight. Greatest chances appear just east of the Pierre area there. We can see the greatest chance right here is what we are looking at for that. As we go through the rest of the week here, we don't see another isolated chance of seeing some of that. Now the next concern though that we have that is going to push through the area is going to be these winds. We will see some wind gust upwards around that 30 to 40. Some areas could see upwards to 40 to 45 miles per hour as this system does push its way through. Good news is that system will quickly move out of the region and bring us our chance of precipitation pretty low there. As we look at the temperatures across the region here, we can see where that cold front really has dropped temperatures. We can see out westward is around 14 degrees for Rapid City. Pierre, it's 21 degrees. Huron, about that 30 degrees mark. And here in Sioux Falls, we're looking at roughly a warmer 34 degrees. Further south you go, Sioux City area, 37. Now, the further west you go towards that Blue Earth area there, you're looking at about 66 degrees. So temps are really warm as you do make your way eastward ahead of this front. So that is bringing up our next point is going to be ahead of this front. We are looking at a chance of some severe weather. Good news is, though, for the Sioux Falls region and South Dakota, Nebraska, portions of Iowa, and portions of Minnesota is not looking at this severe weather risk. However, you can see, according to our Storm Prediction Center map there in the upper right corner of your screen, you can see that there is a little bit of a marginal risk of seeing that severe weather. Basically, what we are looking at, let me get that pulled up here. A closer look at that, basically, it's going to be the I-35 corridor eastward into the Wisconsin area, Illinois area, eastern portions of Iowa, and down into Missouri there, we are seeing that. Now, what is going to be our risk for that is going to be, I put a low risk of seeing a severe thunderstorm watch just because there is that isolated chance of seeing some of that severe weather as that does come into play. Now, as we do start to see that come into play, these storms are going to quickly produce, become severe, cap out, and then start dropping down. Now, what is going to be the threat with this is going to be that tornado and damaging winds is going to be our primary threat with these as these start to move across that Iowa and into Wisconsin, Illinois area. So that is good news, is that it is not affecting us immediately. However, we do know we're starting to pick up viewers across the nation, so we are going to start covering things a little more wider of a broad coverage. So as we do start to see there, east of the I-35 corridor is what this map does apply to for that severe weather risk. So again, we are seeing that low pressure system. We can see that low pressure system approaching that I-35 corridor. We expect that to move through the I-35 corridor by about that 1-2 o'clock time frame. That's when things will really start to ramp up. We'll really start to see those storms produce about that give me just a quick second, sorry. All right. I thought I heard a knock on my door, so I was just checking quick. Sorry, guys. Anyways, we are going to see once that low pressure system moves across that cold front, the I-35 corridor, that's going to when things are going to really start generating some of that severe weather risk. Now we expect about that 2 o'clock time frame to move across the I-35 corridor, and about that 5 o'clock time frame is when we expect to see things start to ramp up. Now we are going to take a live look here. Give me a second to get one thing turned off. And give me a second here to get one thing downloaded. We'll actually take you hour by hour and see what things are going to be looking at for the region here, for that severe weather, when things will start forming and what will start moving out of the region here. So give me just a quick second to get this downloaded. We are at 11% here. Or I'm sorry, 11th hour, and it goes to 18th hour. Now we're at 12th hour. So I want to jump over to the radar scope here. This is a live radar program also we utilize too. You can see these areas in blue. These areas in blue that we are looking at right here is going to be what they call a meso discussion. That means the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma has some concerns with this area that is there. Now their concerns is you can see it there on screen. I know a lot of you can't read it, but heavy snow is what their concerns is over the course of the next couple hours. Same thing in the Fargo and Grand Forks area. They're basically along the I-94 corridor, and as we did mention at the radar Omega there, we could see there is a storm chaser that is out there. As we can see, you can see how poor conditions are out there for that storm chaser that is out there. You can see visibility is really reduced and everything with that. So Bismarck, North Dakota is about ready to get pounded with the heaviest snowfall there right now. As we take a look back at our WSV3, we'll take a quick look back here and we'll do an hour by hour forecast here and let you know what's going to happen. So those isolated showers are, again, going to move through the region about that 12 o'clock time frame. We start to see things really ramp up about that 2 o'clock time frame, like I did mention, when that low pressure system does push across the region. And then as we do continue there, we do see those storms pushing across into Wisconsin and Illinois. This is going to form a line and bring us that chance of seeing that wind damage. The snow system, good news with that. We'll back that up real quick. That snow system is going to continue to follow along the I-94 corridor there. We do see south of the Grand Forks area there some of that heavier band of snow just right along the I-29 corridor, north of the I-94 corridor. That'll continue to progress its way northward, northeastward, and move into the Minnesota area there, bringing the heaviest snowfalls there across the area. Now, as far as North Dakota is concerned, we expect to see this move out yet this evening and bring us less of a chance of seeing that severe weather or anything, or severe snow weather up there. So that is good news that is pushing out of the area. For the Sioux Falls area, good news is we are not seeing much more precipitation. In fact, we're going to jump back to our radar scope and look at our live radar for our region. Give me just a minute here to get things transitioned. As we do take a quick look at that, we do see there south of Fairmont, Minnesota, into Iowa there is a little brief shower that is pushing through the area. We are seeing that is going to start forming into a better line that will come into the I-35 corridor. That's going to be the start of seeing that severe weather ramp up. As it does start to ramp up, we do start to expect to see that severe weather risk. Again, it's going to increase quickly, and then it's going to hit the cap, and it's going to decrease really quickly. As we take a quick look at your precipitation outlook for the rest of, basically almost for the rest of the month, except for about a week there is missing. We're going to be right at that near normal mark, a little below that near normal mark for the week of 17th to the 23rd. And then as we do look at your temps temperature outlook, we are below, also near or below that normal mark for our temperature outlook as well. As we take a quick look at your live traffic cams around the area, you can see road conditions are very just moist, dry in some areas. Let's take a look at, we'll go, let's do 12th and Marion. There's a look at 12th and Marion there. You can see road conditions are fairly dry with that. It does look like here, 57th and Veterans Parkway, we do see some of that little bit of moisture on the ground there with that. As we do look at, let's look at 41st and Louise area there. We do see just a little bit of moisture sticking around on the grounds there as well. But nothing as far as if we look at, let's look at now the DOT road report. Let's take a quick look at that. As you go into the DOT, basically the only way to get into some severe road conditions is going to be in the upper portions, northwestern portions of Minnesota there. We do see some of that going to be completely covered, partially covered road conditions there. As we switch over to North Dakota, North Dakota road conditions, you can see scattered snow showers, snow covered. We are seeing some ice and some scattered ice here just west of the Fargo area. Between Jamestown and Fargo is what we are seeing with that. As we look at South Dakota 511, we are seeing, again, up by the Mobridge area is where we are seeing the greatest poorest road conditions. Move across the area there into the Aberdeen area. As we go back home to the Sioux Falls area, we're looking at just wet or scattered wet road conditions. Further south there, south of the Sioux Falls, Canton area there, down in the Vermilion Elk Point, and as you make your way down into the Sioux City area, they're going to be dry, normal-like weather conditions for that. Again, we do have some frost, ice, slippery road conditions across the region. We do have some snow, ice, and slippery conditions as well as we get up and get closer to that North Dakota border. So road conditions for the South Dakota area does look decent unless you are in the upper northern portions of South Dakota and along the Missouri River there is what we are seeing. So that being said, good news is we got out of this. Bad news is we are looking at another storm system that is going to be pushing through the region. Come into next week is what we are watching as another storm system as well. So I want to appreciate everybody for joining us. Thank you. This has been AJ Town live with the T-Storm Chasers. Good news again is everything's going to be up towards the northern portions of South Dakota and mainly up in North Dakota. And then we are going to see another chance of seeing some snow pushed through the